Hello, this is Bern, and if you're someone who in your quest for love is interested in becoming more youthful, more alive, more radiant, dropping unnecessary weight without depriving yourself from great foods, I'm doing an interview today with my personal health coach and healing guide who will actually blow you away. Enjoy it. Gio, I cannot tell you how excited I am to share you today with my audience. For those of you who don't know this, Giordana, besides being my friend, is my health coach and healer. And for the last few months, I was suffering through this sharp pain in my stomach, something that I'd already got an endoscopy for, and I went to see a doctor. He gave me this medication to remove the acid from my stomach, and he told me that I potentially have to take this thing for the rest of my life. Even with taking the medication, my stomach pain was still there. So I saw Gio, I sought out her help, and she, within a week of working with her, the pain had completely disappeared. 2 weeks into it, I had to throw away one of my belts because, I lost enough weight that it was basically just irrelevant to have a belt around me, and I wasn't even attempting to lose weight. I just felt the natural way she taught me of how to eat, and the different things she showed me just made it go away, which is like the best way, I think, to heal from within. So thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to share your gift and your wisdom with my audience.
Thank you, Bernie. I love being here.
Well, the first question that I have for you is, can you tell, for those women who are listening to us right now and don't have yet the blessing of knowing you, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and your mission in the world, and also what got you started on this journey of not just healing yourself, but healing others from within?
Sure. Well, I got started on this journey simply because I needed answers that I wasn't finding, and I started to seek those answers out for myself. I was very, very sick when I was 17 years old. I was diagnosed with severe fibromyalgia and a sleeping disorder where I could only sleep 3 to 4 hours a night. And I would go to doctor after doctor over a period of 7 years, and all I ever got were more pharmaceutical recommendations, and I was told that I was never going to get well. And I remember that feeling of just that confusion of wondering, is this really true? Are these really the answers? And that feeling of feeling alone and disempowered and out of control in my body. And I set out to get answers. And I come from a family of doctors, but I remember at that time deciding to put aside kind of the traditional way of dealing with illness with pharmaceuticals, and I just set out to understand nutrition and well-being and health and connecting to myself, and I got well in under 1.5 years. And from that point on, I wanted to share the answers that I gotten with others. So that's pretty much what drives me today.
So some of the things that you deal with, you deal with a lot of different issues. Health-wise, chronic pain, you deal with energy, burnout, people who want to get into the best shape of their lives without necessarily having to do it in a hurtful way or because they want to look like someone else, simply just because it's the natural way of having more energy. Can you tell us right now a little bit about what burnout is? It's something that's so common, so prevalent. I was experiencing it when I first contacted you. And I know that that's part of the healing process that you're helping me with right now, is eliminate that in my life. What is burnout? Why does it happen? And how can we start right now eliminating it or moving it away from our lives?
Sure. Well, I think one of the principles that I think we all live by is that anything that we give out, it's because we first are nourished. What I mean by that is, if you have a lot of energy, then it's easy to be energetic. If you feel supported, then it's easy to be happy and it is easy to be vibrant. So burnout happens when we allow ourselves to become depleted by not taking care of ourselves, by not eating right, by not resting enough, by not taking care of our hearts. And when we ignore that and we just produce, we give out love to others, then we eventually hit burnout. And that manifests itself in many different ways. Emotionally, it can be depression of one sort or another, or physically, it can be you're tired all the time, you have fatigue, you just can't make it through the day. So that's what happens when you hit burnout, and that's why it's important to understand how to take care of yourself daily and how to support yourself so that you can give out to the world and you can live your life.
What are some ways for let's say, a woman right now is listening to us and saying, well, that's great, I understand, I'm experiencing burnout. what's one thing you can tell her right now that she can start doing immediately upon finishing this interview that can get her to stop feeling that sense of, as you explain this to me in a way where you're borrowing from the future, you're like getting the energy from the future and alone, and then it's eventually going to catch up with you. And it started already catching up with me. I mean, before I started changing my life in the ways you showed me. But can you? What's one thing someone can do today to start to cut away from that and to get into a healthier path of being more sustainably happy and energetic?
Absolutely. I mean, starting to build your support system. So giving a priority to eating right and to feeding your body, prioritizing rest and slowing down and feeling within yourself, connecting with yourself. Those are all ways in which we begin to take care of ourselves so that we can last long term.
So building support systems. So what are examples of a few support systems we need to start thinking about building in our lives so it's sustainable?
Support systems. Well, food is a support system. The way that we nourish ourselves, prioritizing nutrition, that's a huge support system, because that's what fuels our body to repair itself. That's what fuels our brain to function properly, to keep our moods uplifted, to keep us energetic and vibrant. So definitely prioritizing, giving priority to what we eat is very important.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's so much confusion out there. I mean, you can read 20 new books by 20 doctors who are all PhDs and they've all done studies and all have awards, and one tells you eat meat, the other one tells you eat vegan, the other one tells you fat is bad for you, the other one tells you fat is good for you. How the hell do you figure out what's right for you versus, because there's so much confusing and conflicting information out there. How do you sort that out?
I think we started out simply because it's a learning curve. We started out by trying different things and essentially seeing the results that they produce in our lives. So there's a list that I use that I call biomarkers of different results that you can use to measure how you're really doing. So for example, you could be trying one nutritional plan and losing weight, but your energy can be start to go downhill really quickly, and you can lose your ability to have a good night's rest. So on the one hand, it's working with you because you're losing weight, but other areas in your life are going off of balance. So eventually, after you try things, you start to nail the things that actually work for you and give you results on many levels, not just on trying to fit your jeans, but on keeping yourself strong and vibrant. And
so when you help someone, when you work with someone, is that basically how you do it? I mean, you start testing different things. I mean, or do you already start from a knowing, saying, hey, because of this person's telling me these things, you have a hypothesis as far as what's going to work, and then introduce a few things, or do you just try random things? How do you do it when you work with someone?
There's definitely basic foundational concepts, and so I teach those concepts to the clients that I work with, and we measure the results on a weekly basis. And depending on the results that we get and the improvements that we see, we start really individualizing the program, and the client starts to get a real sense of empowerment because they're connecting with what actually works with their body and what actually is giving them results.
Well, what makes you the happiest when you work with someone? What gives you the greatest amount of joy?
What gives me the greatest amount of joy? I think the how much their life changes on so many levels when they begin to connect with their body and to take care of it, and the body rewards them with health, vitality, energy. When they begin to feel empowered in their body, there's a confidence that starts to spill over into other areas of their life. And a lot of the work that I do is also emotional work, connecting with the soul, connecting with who they really are. And that's just the most amazing thing, to see someone go from feeling a little bit lost to feeling a real sense of connection with themselves. It's an amazing feeling.
Which is another thing I want to talk to you about. I mean, I know that part of the thing you do when you work with someone is you work at all these different levels. You work with, of course, the basic things that you're describing. You're working at the soul level, you're working at the heart level, energetically, in all these different areas. And one of the things that I know has served you immensely, and I can sense that from the first moment you and I spoke, it was your intuition, right? You have a very sharp intuition that you can actually talk to someone and then say things that are so true that most people won't get a chance to actually catch on the basic level. But so it's a two-part question, okay? Part number one is, what is intuition to you? And part two is, you being someone who's developed this throughout your life so strongly, what can you share with women right now who are wanting to connect more to that intuition as to how they can start doing it? So first you, and then how can people do it more often?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think intuition is a connection to our soul on a very deep level. Mm-hmm. And I think it's when you decide to befriend your soul, when you decide to be a friend to your heart, to feel what's going on in your heart without judgment, to give yourself that space of the same way you would listen to a friend with compassion and empathy, that you would listen to your soul, and it translates also to being a friend to your body, to developing a relationship with your body that isn't demanding and isn't a one-way relationship. You have to live a certain way so that I feel valuable. You have to do this, but just developing a love relationship with our body, and developing, and so that's more the health issue. But in terms of intuition, it's that being a friend to yourself. And when you're a friend to yourself, you can give yourself the space and the quiet to allow something that isn't rigid or in a box to emerge, that helps you connect. And so when I am with a client, I have 10 years of health and wellness experience that I lay myself against, or that I use to support what I do. But at the same time, there is that sense of creating a space for their unique imbalance or needs to emerge, as well as for the whatever's going on with them internally to emerge and come out in a space of safety and a space of no judgment. And in that space, when we can see all parts of things, then we can start to heal in a very radical way. Integration starts to occur. The person becomes congruent. Their body starts to function in a different way, and amazing healing occurs on many levels.
That is beautiful, because you're talking about like the true essence of healing, which is like this self-love and compassion that is like so not part of what the traditional route is for most people. And that got me into thinking this. I mean, like one of the things that I also want to talk to you about, because you've done this so well. You do it. You practice it yourself. Number one, so you're living with integrity. I've seen the results by working with you, just like how simple and how easy it is to shed unwanted shit in terms of pounds in your life. What would you say? Because your approach is so different from the traditional approach of, let's exercise, let's like eat this to lose weight. It's almost like it's a natural byproduct of what you do when you help someone. It's like anything that's not serving them starts going away. How do you see how do you see this process of losing weight that is unnecessary in your body as a result of loving yourself more?
Well, I think that we're driven by needs, and we're driven by inspiration and by desires, by things that we want. And so understanding the ways that we met those needs dysfunctionally, when we sought comfort or convenience through food, and we were mindless about taking care of our body, bringing awareness to that, as well as reconnecting with ourselves. Instead of being disconnected to ourselves, whenever there's disconnection, there's heaviness. When there's connection, there's life. Life flows. And so making that connection to ourselves solid through the foundations of self-love and self-respect, and just giving ourselves space to be, then we begin to emerge as we truly are, in a sense of our sense of power and potential begins to emerge. And then, of course, why are we doing it? Getting clear on, why do we want to be healthy? Why is this the best way? What is this going to give us for our life moving forward? That taps us into inspiration, which makes everything lighter, and it just makes things easier. It makes it easier to eat right. It makes it easier to act correctly, because you're living for something. Sure. And so we work on those areas. We work on understanding why we eat the way that we do now, and why eating a different way is going to just bring so many dividends, is going to increase our sense of self-love and self-respect. And our body's going to reward us by feeling light, by becoming more beautiful, by becoming younger, by having glowing skin, but for the right reasons, not for more ego-based reasons. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And so my question to you would be for people who are listening to you right now and saying, okay, well, that's great. I would love to learn. What are two things you can share? Something really simple, but immediately applicable that any woman who's listening to this right now can put into action to start loving her body more and losing anything that she doesn't need to retain in terms of weight, but from a loving space. What are two things you can share with us right now that they can start implementing like ASAP to get this happening?
Okay, I mean, sure. Just on a more kind of thought level or feeling level, waking up and thinking, how can I serve my body so that my body can serve me? So understanding that it's something that we're responsible for taking care of and loving. And so my body needs nutrition to function. And I am connected to my body in this world. So if my brain and my mood swings and, if I want to be uplifted, my body needs to have enough fuel. So understanding that you need nutrition. So basically, and making that practical, eat more whole food. Move away from processed foods and just eat whole living food. And so that's one.
I mean, I'll never forget this. Like the first couple of days when I started working with you, I want to kill you. I mean, like it's like there's all these things that I wanted to eat. Like crap, I can't eat this. And then when I substituted it with the stuff you were sharing, because you weren't saying deprive yourself from these things.
Yeah.
Don't eat carbohydrates, which I think. I mean, you were saying you eat them, eat the right kinds.
Exactly.
When I started doing it, I felt so much more. I think the word you use is satiated. I mean, like I felt like I'm totally cool. I can eat less and feel completely like I don't need to go continue eating. Because it has nutrients. It's like real food. It's not food-like products. It's the real thing, right? Absolutely.
And then understanding that everything's cause and effect. So when we eat right, when we eat at the right time, then most of those symptoms go away. Symptoms of imbalance, symptoms of not feeling well. Yeah. And it's just simple changes. Yeah, absolutely. It's great.
So the question I have for you is right now, I know you have something coming up. You have a program that's coming up right now. It's a 3-month program where you take women one-on-one through this very powerful journey where I think this is the powerful thing. People usually sure women come to you and they say, I want more energy, or I want more, I don't know, I want better skin, or I want to lose weight, but what they end up getting is finding their way back home, which is like so powerful. I get teary-eyed as I think about it, but can you describe to us a little bit about what it is that you're offering right now? You're offering for the people who are listening to me right now, like 10 calls where you're going to choose 10 women that basically apply for this one-on-one to share something with them, and those who actually end up wanting to work with you, you'll give them the opportunity to do that. But what is that call about, and tell us a little bit about the whole thing.
Sure. Well, I think I wouldn't have a program if it didn't give results. And what I mean is that as beautiful as self-love sounds and all these concepts sounds, at the end of the day, we do want to lose weight. We want an increase in energy. We want to feel better. We want to feel vibrant. We want our skin to look younger. We want wrinkles to diminish or disappear. So that's definitely the foundation in terms of you will feel and look amazing. But on top of that, it's always why we do the things that we do. Are we leading from a place of self-hatred or self-rejection or self-condemnation, or are we leading from a place of love? And that's the ultimate journey, because we want to be healthy, but from a good place, from a place of self-love. And
so I'll be placing the link here for people to sign up to apply for one of the 10 calls you're offering to the group of women that I serve. But can you tell me more about if somebody applies for this call, they get a chance to connect with you. What is this 1 hour that they get a chance to spend with you? What is it about?
It's about getting clear on where they are at with their relationship with their body, where they are at with their biomarkers, their health, their stamina, their energy, etc., and where they want to go and what's preventing them from getting there, and then seeing if it's a fit with the way that I work. Which is essentially taking them on a journey that brings them back home to their body and to their soul in a very beautiful way. So.
That's powerful. Well, I'm going to place the link here for everyone who's listening and watching. You can sign up for one of these calls. If you get selected, she'll guide you through this process. It's incredible. I've gone through it myself. I mean, I wouldn't be sharing her with you guys if I hadn't experienced this, because the one thing I want to end this by is telling you that throughout my journey of working with so many women in my life, a lot of the women that I've served, have been health coaches, and I've also been approached by a lot of health coaches at many different times in my life, and I have connected with, I'd say, potentially hundreds of health coaches, very few healers, and I place you in that category of healing, because the thing that I experienced personally is not just like strategies. It's like it's so much more than that. So I want to thank you from my heart for not just being here today with me, but sharing your wisdom with everyone that I get a chance to serve. And
Please share it, Brittany.
So anyone who is interested in really transforming her body, transforming her life, and connecting to her soul in a more deep way, sign up for one of these things. And I look forward to seeing how you grow, how you evolve, and how things unfold for you, because I know you're going to great places.
Thank you.